So coming up with healthy dinner recipes that are actually simple to put together and that the whole family will eat is something I have had to become good at as a nutritionist. Every one of my clients needs it at some point or another, and I figured I would just put a couple of the winners in an episode for you to benefit from as well.
Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to and let's go.
I made that recipe you gave me for my husband's favorite jambalaya, but the healthier version, and I'm shocked. He loved it. He said it was even better than the boxed version and that I should make it this way all the time. I'm shocked, but so grateful. I never would have been able to come up with that on my own, and it's helping me build my confidence in the kitchen. I could cry thinking about my husband eating healthier and how much that will help him. So I just wanted to thank you. I already signed up for another coaching call. I can't wait. This is a message I received from a nutrition client after her diet-free nutrition coaching call, and I am beaming for her. She felt stuck because she wanted to steer her family towards healthy eating and knew that was the right thing for everyone, but feels like she lacks knowledge on where to even begin. Not to mention trying to make changes while keeping everything else afloat as a working mom, and the stress simply thinking about it brought her. So during her coaching session, I gave her a very simple next step plan with exact instructions on how to put it all into practice, and this was the message she sent back. If you can relate to feeling stuck, even though you want to make healthy changes, head to coachrain.com/diet-free to book your diet-free nutrition coaching call so you can be the next success story I get to talk about on the podcast. That's coachreign.com/diet-free. And now, welcome to Nutrition for Christian Women. If I had $1 for every time I heard, I do really well with breakfast and lunch, but then dinner and after dinner is when I just fall off, then I would have a lot of dollars. This is so relatable for most of us, right? And that's because oftentimes our mornings and workdays are usually scheduled and routine, so it's easy to go on autopilot. But evenings tend to get filled with other obligations that shift and change, or even straight up fatigue that leads to lack of motivation to do anything productive, including making a healthy dinner. So coming up with healthy dinner recipes that are actually simple to put together and that the whole family will eat is something I have had to become good at as a nutritionist. Every one of my clients needs it at some point or another, and I figured I would just put a couple of the winners in an episode for you to benefit from as well. So here are 3 healthy dinner recipes you can hang on to for this week, next week, and beyond. Starting with one of my favorite go-tos, because this is literally a set it and forget it, makes lots of servings at once with minimal prep work, and a crowd favorite. It's my slow cooker chicken and wild rice soup recipe. Here's what you'll need for about 6 servings. 1.5 pounds of raw chicken thighs, boneless and skinless, 2 cups of carrots chopped, 2 cups of celery chopped, 1 yellow onion diced, 2 cups of wild rice blend. This is important. We can't use other rices. It has to be wild rice because of the way it absorbs liquids. 4 cups of chicken stock. I usually go for the no salt added, and then I can add my own as desired. 1/2 cup of canned coconut milk, 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley, thyme, sage, and garlic powder each, and then salt and pepper to taste. And the directions are so easy. Start by combining everything into your large slow cooker except the coconut milk. Leave that for later. I actually just dump the veggies in as I'm cutting them, layer the chicken thighs on top, then add everything else except the milk. Then cook it on low for about 6 to 8 hours. You could also do on high for about 4 hours. And if it looks like the liquid line is dropping below the main ingredients, I would end it closer to the 6-hour mark, potentially adding more broth or water as needed. But it is important to note that every time you take off the lid from a slow cooker, you lose so much steam and heat that you should add an extra 30 minutes to your cook time. And then from there, remove the chicken thighs, use 2 forks to shred them up, and then put them back into the slow cooker. And finally, in a separate bowl, slowly stir in 1 cup of hot broth into the coconut milk. Then add the whole bowl back to the slow cooker while stirring. Coconut milk doesn't really curdle like conventional dairy milk will, but it's still best not to shock it, which is why I do the slowly adding soup to it method. And that's really it. Ready to serve. Pro tip for this recipe, it makes a great freezer meal. And I've made and gifted this to so many of my pregnant friends for those early postpartum days, and it is always a hit. So freeze it in individual servings for easy access in reheating. The second healthy dinner recipe I'll share is probably the one I make most in my house, and it's called burger salad. Just think your standard burger patty with toppings, but instead of a bun, you put it in a leafy green salad. This was inspired by the many times I have ordered a salad when going out to eat, but then also ordered a burger patty a la carte for protein, and then just stuck it in the salad. Here's the framework for a single serving, which you can easily multiply to feed many mouths at once. 1/4 pound of grass-fed ground beef, any seasonings that you like to taste for the burger. Me personally, I use salt and pepper, onion powder, Worcestershire sauce, and yellow mustard, all mixed in the raw ground beef before cooking. I do not measure anything, I just throw it all in a bowl. 1.5 to 2 cups of leafy greens. Yes, we're still talking individual servings here. And then about 1/4 cup of each of the following. Something pickled, like actual pickles or pickled onions. I've even used pickled beets before. Something crunchy, like shredded cabbage, carrots, cucumbers. And something sweet, like berries, half an apple. Fruit works really well here. Optionally, you can add 1/4 cup of starchy carbs too. Oftentimes, I will roast or air fry a red potato, which kind of feels like French fries in my salad, and I love it. Or even butternut squash. Again, optional, but it makes a salad more satisfying with that complexity and that added texture. Then, of course, a dressing you desire. I make my own honey mustard, which is literally olive oil, Dijon mustard, and honey in a jar, shaken vigorously until it's one smooth consistency. I make a big batch and then keep it in the fridge for an entire week. Then really, all you have to do is put all of the salad ingredients into a bowl, grill the burgers, and roast the potatoes if you're using them. To grill the burgers, I know there can be a lot of finesse to making these thebomb.com. My husband is super into smash burgers and takes the art of burger making very seriously. For me, I'm just looking to get it done as fast and healthfully as possible. So I drizzle some yellow mustard on my ground beef along with salt, pepper, some onion powder. Then I roll it into a big meatball to evenly spread those ingredients across the meat. And then gently make a round patty with a thumbprint divot in the center, which will help it cook evenly. I'll drizzle some Worcestershire sauce on the patty and then let it rest to soak in while putting together all of my salad ingredients in the bowl and heating up my cast iron skillet or grill. Then cook your burger to your desired doneness and throw it in the salad. Now, you might be thinking, wait, put a hot burger patty in a cold leafy green salad? That's weird. Won't it get soggy? Here's what I've found. The juices from the burger actually act like another salad dressing and make it less like you're eating grass. And then mixing all of those textures, flavors, and temperatures makes the salad so much more satisfying. I never have a craving for something extra after having this meal. Of course, you can totally leave the burger and salad separate entities, but I'm just saying, don't knock it till you try it. That's also why these are single servings and don't make great prep ahead of time meals unless you store them separately and then just reheat and combine. This is one I would make fresh each time you eat it. I mean, you could have all of the elements prepared and ready to just assemble, even the burger patty to just reheat. But honestly, it only takes about 15 to 20 minutes start to finish if you're making it from scratch. That's why I love it. And the third healthy recipe I'm going to share with you in today's episode is the old stir fry. Now, this one I developed during the days when I was meal prepping for my now husband, when he hired me to be his nutritionist/chef long before we started dating. So I really only made it because it's fast and simple, yet packed with nutrition and delicious. Stir fry was never something I had growing up in my German, Polish, Midwestern household. In fact, I don't have any memory of eating rice until I was in college. So I learned how to make that in my mid-20s, and I'm still not great at it. But this recipe doesn't necessarily need rice either. I've definitely used riced cauliflower at times to get even more veggies into my husband's diet. All that being said, here's what you need for 4 servings. 1.5 pounds of steak. I typically look for a strip steak or a skirt steak. Sometimes the butcher at the meat counter will even slice it for you to be ready to just throw in the stir fry, so don't hesitate to ask for that service. But I've also used chuck meat and stew meat for this as well. 2 to 3 cups of vegetables. Now, you can make it super simple by getting a stir-fry frozen vegetable blend and using that. Or if you want true customization, pick your own fresh veggies. I like to have 4 to 5 different kinds of vegetables in this recipe. Common ones I use are bell peppers, snow peas, broccoli, onions, asparagus, green beans. And then you need 1/2 cup of freshly ground peanut butter, 1/4 cup of coconut aminos, which has the same flavor as soy sauce, but is gluten-free and tends to be less inflammatory for most people. 1 inch of freshly grated ginger, 2 cloves of garlic minced, 1/4 to 1/3 cup of avocado oil, just depending on how much you need to cook for the vegetables and the steak. An optional addition would be sesame seeds to taste as a garnish. And again, optionally, 2 cups of cooked white rice for the 4 servings, which comes out to 1/2 cup of cooked rice per serving. As for the instructions, start by adding all of the vegetables into a large skillet with part of the avocado oil and cook them over medium heat while covered so that they can start to soften. You can either remove them from the skillet and set them aside while cooking the steak, or just push them to one side of the skillet while you add the remaining avocado oil to the skillet, turn up the heat, and sear the steak on all sides. This really only takes a couple of minutes, so don't walk away from the stove. Once the steak is mostly cooked through, just shy of where you like the doneness, turn off the heat and return the veggies to the skillet if you removed them. Cover the whole thing to let the residual heat keep everything warm. It will continue to cook slowly, too. Meanwhile, add all the other ingredients to a blending device. So that's the peanut butter, coconut aminos, ginger, garlic, and a touch more avocado oil if your peanut butter isn't particularly creamy. This is the wonderful stir-fry sauce. Blend it up, adding oil as needed to make it creamy and not sticky. Now, just add it all to the skillet and stir to combine everything. Serve it hot over rice or cauliflower rice or glass noodles or as is. This makes great leftovers when stored in the fridge because all the ingredients just continue to soak up that sauce. You could optionally use high-quality sesame oil in the sauce mixture for an even stronger flavor profile, but I would stay away from using it in the skillet with high heat. And there you have it. 3 healthy dinner recipes that don't take long, are easy to customize for your own preferences, and have a solid track record of crowd pleasing. If you enjoy getting exact step-by-step plans like this with personalization to suit your needs, making your life easier, especially when it comes to healthy eating consistently, I encourage you to book a diet-free nutrition coaching call with me. Head to coachrain.com/dietfree, find the day and 1-hour time slot that works best for you, and get ready to have all your questions answered, along with a unique to you strategy to make healthful eating your everyday normal. Again, that's coachrain.com/dietfree, and I can hardly wait to connect.
I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the Weekly Harvest, my weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for the Weekly Harvest. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.